What's up guys, I'm here with another video. Welcome to episode 25 of Let's Build the City. Today we're building Paw Patrol Headquarters. So, yeah. Anyway, let's build the Paw Patrol Headquarters.
Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you how to make the Paw Patrol Headquarters. Once again, I want to thank everybody for submitting comments and suggestions for which cartoon house I should make next. Here it is in all of the angles that you might want to view it from. I know that it's not really got that many angles, but still, here it is. It's actually a little bit more impressive if you turn on night vision. That way you can see things a little bit brighter. You can see that the whole thing has lit up a little, looks a lot more impressive. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. If you do, please remember to smack that like button. That would really help me out. And also comment down below, what would you like to see next? This only happened because of all of you guys that did suggest this, so remember, if you leave a suggestion, it might actually get built like this thing right here. Hope you enjoy, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Let's go straight into the tutorial. So if you want to make it, here's what you need. Grab yourself some...
Alright, let's get the materials. So we need white concrete.
Concrete, some yellow... concrete, some red... concrete, some blue concrete, cyan concrete, light grey concrete, sea lanterns, light blue glass, and some blue stained glass. If you want to make it, here's what you'll need. Grab yourself some white concrete, some yellow concrete, some red concrete, some blue concrete, cyan concrete, light grey concrete, sea lanterns, light blue glass, and some blue stained glass. Now, I understand that not all of you guys might have access to concrete yet. It's only just came out on the Xbox One, so if you don't have it, use quartz for white concrete and simply use wool for all of the other colour variants, and it'll look almost as good. It's just that concrete is a lot more vibrant and it's smoother, so it will look better with the concrete, but wool will also look really nice once you have each one of those materials and once you've figured out what you want to make it. And by the way, the Paw Patrol Headquarters will fit in a 35 block, that's 35 blocks coming across the front, by a 21 block coming across the back area. If you like, you can plant this in your world and it will allow you to better control the space that you have. Now, if you do that, you want to start on the very front and bottom left-hand corner of the rectangular shape. You want to count in and find the 14th block to the right, so that's the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th. Then count inwards towards the back by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. If you do all of that, we're then starting in the same position, in the same parameters. That's all that is. Begin with a row of 3 blue concrete coming up from the ground. That's 1, 2, and 3. Then do 2 upper right diagonals. 1, 2. Go right by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do 2 bottom right diagonals. 1 and 2. And connect that down to the ground, like this. What you then want to do is you want to add an additional layer of blue directly behind what you've just made. So just add another layer of blue directly behind your blue. And then what you want to do is you actually want to take the left-hand row of 3 and the right-hand row of 3, the parts that connect down to the ground. You want to extend those backwards by an additional row each. And you also want to do the same to the top as well. So you want to extend the top backwards just like that. Now, what do we want to do next? Well, we want to take the middle row of 3 blue concrete on the left, this one, and we want to place a row of cyan concrete on the inside of it, such as this. We then want to place a row of cyan concrete underneath the middle row of blue at the top of the build, and on the inside of the right, so you can see that we have a slightly shrunken door. What we then want to do is we want to create a cross shape in the door. We want to connect the top to the bottom in the middle using the cyan concrete, and left to right in the middle, once again using cyan concrete. And we're going to swap the very middle block for a sea lantern, like this. We're also going to place light blue glass in between all of the empty spaces, and that is the actual entrance to the headquarters itself. We then want to do this, so we're going to take this row of blue that we have all the way up at the top back, the one that we extended earlier, this row of 5 at the top, and behind it we want to place a row of cyan concrete, like this. And we want to take the left-hand cyan block that we just placed, and we want to place a row of 24 cyan concrete coming up from this left-hand one, so that
24. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, and that's it. 24 concrete coming up from that left row. What we then want to do is we want to extend the top block to the right by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we can actually connect it all the way down like this, so you can connect it all the way down. That's perfect. We then want to take this rectangular shape that we have right here, and we want to place, starting from the bottom, a row of 5 glass at the bottom coming upwards. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We then want to place a cyan concrete. Then we're going to want to just fill all of these rows in, so you can either use light blue glass that pops a little bit against the cyan, or you can simply use cyan glass also. But I like the light blue just because it kind of reacts with the cyan rather than blends in. We're then going to come all the way up to the top of the build, and we're going to start from the top, and we want to do 3 rows of glass coming down this time. We want to do 1, 2, and 3, then a cyan concrete underneath, and then 1, 2, 3, then a cyan concrete underneath, and then we basically want to make the cyan concretes join the sides, and then we're just going to want to fill the rest of the area in with glass, and that also includes the very large area that we now have here in the middle. This is also going to want to be filled in with glass, and later on, not right now, actually we might even do it right now, we can do the Paw Patrol logo. You know what, we're right here, aren't we? Why don't we do it now? So the Paw Patrol logo is situated, we start off in front of this row of cyan clay that we have. It's not clay, it's concrete. I always got confused now. But you want to take this second row of cyan concrete that we placed down here, and we want to place a row of 3 light grey concrete in front of the cyan. So like this, 3 light grey concrete. You want to take the right hand concrete to 2 bottom right diagonals, that's 1, 2, then go down 1, do 2 bottom left diagonals, 1, and actually 3 bottom left diagonals, 2, then go down 3 light grey concrete. You want to take the right hand concrete to 2 bottom right diagonals, that's 1, 2, then go down 1, do 2 bottom left diagonals, 1, and actually 3 bottom left diagonals, that's 1, 2, and 3, then do 3 up left diagonals, 1, 2, and that will be 3, and then go up by 1 to an upright diagonal. So you want to have this sort of shape right here. What you then want to do is fill this in with red concrete like this, just fill in the center of the shape like so. We then want to take out the white concrete this time, and we want to place a white concrete at the very top center in front of the red concrete, leaving a gap of 1 coming down. We want to then place another white concrete, place 1 underneath, left and right, and you also want to place from the left hand concrete, you want to do an up left diagonal, move up by 1, place a concrete in this position, and the same thing on the right. So to create a little bit of a paw shape, that's what you want to do. You then want to take all grey concrete and you want to extend it towards you by one row. And that is going to be the Paw Patrol logo, which is going to be displayed proudly on the front of the video. So you want to have something which should look a little bit like this so far. Now, once you've got that sorted out, we can now focus on some of the more important parts of the building. So we're going to grab ourselves...
Hello Kenny too, welcome to live stream.
Going to grab the red concrete and we are going to come all the way down to the bottom of the entrance, so where we have these rows of three blue concrete, and behind the left hand row of three blue concrete we're going to place a red concrete. We're then going to do an up left diagonal as if we're looking down on the ground. We're then going to go up by 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. We're then going to do 2 upper right diagonals, 1, 2. We're then going to go up by 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. We're then going to do 2 upper right diagonals, 1, 2. We're then going to go right by 6, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
We're then going to do 2 bottom right diagonals, 1, 2. Then down by 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we're going to place a bottom left diagonal, and you should end up with a shape that should look very much like that. Now once you've got that sorted out, you want to place a row of yellow concrete directly on top of what you've just made. So just place a row of yellow concrete directly on top of what you've just made, like this. And what you also want to do, and this is where things get a little bit tricky, you want to place, you know what, before things get tricky, you want to place a row of white concrete on top of the row of yellow concrete, and this row of white concrete, it wants to come up as high as the cyan concrete that we have already at the top of the build, and it wants to go up above it by one row, like that. So it just wants to come up by one row. And you want to do that going all the way around your build. So wherever you have the yellow concrete, you want to place the row of white concrete on top of it. And as I say, the rows of white concrete want to be one row higher than the cyan concrete that we placed ever so slightly earlier. This is kind of a long process because this is quite a big tower. It's quite a large tower indeed. So we're going to have to, well, really just have to sit and wait this out. There is not an insane amount more to do, as you guys might be very, very happy with. Once we have done the structure of the tower, once we have done this white conish bit, we then just have to give the tower legs or feet, however you want to look at it, the parts that support the tower on the left and right, and we also have to do the top of the tower, which is where like all the lookout is, and we've got a load of glass, and it's really cool. It's quite an easy build, and it makes an impression in your world. I mean, this tower is pretty awesome, if I do say so myself. And it will absolutely make a big impression if you just build this and you just don't say anything about it, and one of your friends just comes in your world one day and like, what is that thing? And you're like, oh yeah, that's right. I don't know, I really like it. It's such a nice, colourful build. It's so interesting. But we're almost coming to the point where we have done all of our rows of white, except have we? I'll show you why in a second. So now that we've extended up all of the yellow blocks, you'll have something which should look like this, right? However, what we now want to do is behind the rows of 2 blue concrete that we have at the entrance, you'll notice that we have just 2 blue concrete in some of these rows. You want to place a white concrete behind the blue, and then you also want to extend that white concrete all the way upwards in some of these rows. You want to place a white concrete behind the blue, and then you also want to extend that white concrete all the way upwards, and you want to extend it up until it is as high as all of the other white concrete. So you want to do that on the left and the right as well. You will notice that it does interfere ever so slightly with your Paw Patrol logo, but you can just move through it. Don't place anything on the logo like this. Connect it all the way together at the top like this, left to right, and you will be left with something that looks pretty spectacular. It's already looking great. That is most of the tower complete, kind of, the lower part anyway. Once you've got that sorted out, this is what we're going to do next. So, we're going to take care of what I like to call the feet of the tower. On the left-hand side and the right-hand side, the tower has feet. I'll explain. So, just behind the entrance, right, on the left-hand side, you have this red concrete. From this red concrete, you actually want to do a row of 8 red concrete going left of this block. So that'll be 1.
Okay, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
8. From this 8th block, you want to actually move backwards, and you want to move backwards by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then you want to extend that 6th block all the way back to connect back to the tower. Place a row of yellow on top of your row of red. A very striking colour combination. Love the combination of yellow, red, and even a little bit of blue and white. We then want to take out our white concrete, and 1 row above and 1 row inwards in a U shape. We want to create a U shape of white concrete that sits above and inside of the just made, like this. And then what we want to do is we want to gradually shrink this row of white concrete, and to do that we want to do slightly smaller rows of U shapes with the white concrete. So we want to shrink it by 1 every time, but we only want to shrink it. We don't want to like bring it in by any other blocks. We're basically making what looks like a staircase. So we want to shrink it by 1 row of white concrete, and to do that we want to do slightly smaller rows of U shapes with the white concrete. So we want to shrink it by 1 every time, but we only want to shrink the end bit. We don't want to like bring it in by any other blocks. We're basically making what looks like a staircase is essentially what it looks like, but it's not. It's just like the foot of the tower. This would actually be a perfect spot on the inside of the tower to actually burrow into, and you can actually use it as space. But yeah, that's what you want to do on the left. You want to do the same on the right. Let me show you. So on the right, just behind the entrance, where this red concrete touches the back of the entrance, you want to extend this out to the right by 8.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
With your red concrete, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You want to extend it backwards by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then you want to connect it all the way back to the tower, right? So you've got your row of red concrete. Then you want to stick your row of yellow concrete directly on top of your row of red. So yellow on top of red. Put life rule. And you then, I don't know what that means by the way, just grab yourself some white concrete, I'm just talking, and place a row of white concrete above and inside of the row of yellow concrete, like this. And then you want to gradually shrink it, just as you did the opposite side. So just gradually shrink things as you did the opposite side. It will look very nice. It will look like the tower is actually supported by a little something, and that is the entire point of it. I just placed so many more blocks than I had to there, but you know what? What else are you going to do? So we just want to have something which should look fundamentally like that. Wonderful. So the tower now has its supports. Perfect. What do we want to do next? Well, we want to start off by grabbing our blue concrete and we want to head all the way up to the top of the tower. So, at the tower, top of the tower, you have this big white oval shape. One row above and outside of the white oval shape, you want to create a slightly larger blue oval shape. So you want to extend out the tower by one row, like this, as you can see me doing here, above and outside of the tower, exactly as you can see me doing here. It's very self-explanatory, just one row outwards, then the actual tower itself. Create a little bit of a feeling of depth, and it will just make the tower look a little bit better, like that. So, what do we want to do next? So, the corners of this particular part of the tower, the two diagonal blocks, added 2 additional layers of blue on top. So, 1, 2, 1, 2, and you want to do that for all the corners. 1, 2, 1, 2, then 1, 2, 1, 2, and the back as well. 1, 2, 1, 2, like this. Now, on the front, left and right, back, we want to have some windows. So, starting on top of this row of blue, on the left, we want to go up on top of this left-hand blue block by 2, 1, 2. We then want to go right by 3, 1, 2, 3. Connect down. Take that top blue block again, go right by 1, 2, 3. Connect down. We can then fill this in with blue stained glass paint. You can use a different colour if you want. I just quite like the blue for this particular bit. We want to do the same on the back, so if we come to the back here, we want to extend the left-hand side up by 2, then right by 3, 1, 2, 3, down, 1, 2, 3, down, fill in the centre of the shape. It's just the same as what you did on the front. On the sides, we want to raise up the left-hand side by 2, 1, 2, we want to go right by 1, 2, connect down, right by 1, 2, connect down. So you can see it's a similar concept, but it's just on a slightly smaller scale because the tower is an oval shape, it's not a circle, and that's all you want to do. And this is just a nice couple of windows. It really adds something to the tower. It makes it look quite good. The tower is going to go right by 1, 2, connect down, right by 1, 2, connect down. So you can see it's a similar concept, but it's just on a slightly smaller scale because the tower is an oval shape, it's not a circle, and that's all you want to do. And this is just a nice couple of windows. It really adds something to the tower. It makes it look quite good. And once you've sorted that out, this is what we are going to be doing next. So, I'm sure you guys are sick of hearing this. It's a phrase I use quite often. Take out the cyan concrete, one row above, and outside of the row of oval cyan concrete at the row of blue concrete that you have all the way up at the top of the build, you want to have a row of cyan concrete, same shape, slightly bigger, one row above, one row outwards. There's nothing else to tell you about that. You guys have done this loads of times before probably. You just extend out this shape that we have right now. Very simple, and once we've actually done this once, we're going to want to reinforce the shape a little bit. I'll show you how to do that though. So once again, we're creating a level of depth with our blue concrete or cyan concrete like that. What we then want to do is we want to go all the way around this with our cyan concrete. We want to add another layer to it. So we want to add one layer, going all the way concrete or our cyan concrete like that. What we then want to do is we want to go all the way around this with our cyan concrete. We want to add another layer to it. So we want to add one layer, concrete or our cyan concrete like that. What we then want to do is we want to go all the way around this with our cyan concrete. We want to add another layer to it. So we want to add one layer going all the way around. So just basically add a block on the outside of this. Just bolster it by one block. It's all you have to do, nothing else. Just add one row directly to it going all the way around. And make sure that you do it everywhere. I haven't missed a block, have I? No, I've not missed a block. And once you've done that once, make sure that it's nice and smooth. You might have to check the top and make sure that you've done it, yeah? Add another. So going all the way around, once again, just add another layer going all the way around, just one block in front of every single other block, just to kind of, once again, it's all about depth with this. It's about depth and achieving the right shape with the actual build. That's what this is all about. It's about nothing else. So we just want to have a look at this, make sure that we've done it correctly. We don't want any mistakes. That's absolutely one.
Oh, it's confusing. This is confusing. Okay, I don't understand this. Okay, I really do not understand this. So I'm gonna just try and do it all over again because I don't know what to fucking do. It's very fucking confusing. Let's do this again.
It's a phrase I use quite often. Take out the cyan concrete, one row above, and outside of the row of oval cyan concrete at the row of blue concrete that you have all the way up at the top of the build, you want to have a row of cyan concrete, same shape, slightly bigger, one row above, one row. There's nothing else to tell you about that. You guys have done this loads of times before, probably. You just extend out this shape that we have right now. Very simple. And once we've actually done this once, we're going to want to reinforce the shape a little bit. I'll show you how to do that though. So once again, we're creating a level of depth with our blue concrete or our cyan concrete like that. What we then want to do is we want to go all the way around this with our cyan concrete. We want to add another layer to it. So we want to add one layer going all the way around. So just basically add a block on the outside. Just bolster it by one block. It's all you have to do, nothing else. Just add one row directly to it all the way around. And make sure that you do it everywhere. I haven't missed a block, have I? No, I've not missed a block. And once you've done that once, make sure that it's not to it going all the way around. And make sure that you do it everywhere. I haven't missed a block, have I? No, I've not missed a block. And once you've done that once, make sure that it's nice and smooth. You might have to check the top and make sure that you've done it again. Add another. So going all the way around. Once again, just add another layer going all the way around. Just one block.
Oh, I see what you're gonna do now. So.
In front of every single other block, just to kind of, once again, it's all about depth with this. It's about depth and achieving the right shape with the actual build. That's what this is all about. It's about nothing else. So we just want to have a look at this, make sure that we've done it correctly. We don't want any mistakes. That's absolutely wonderful. And once you have that sorted out, ladies and gentlemen, I have some bad news. Once again, one row above, and one row outside of what we just made, we want to have a row of cyan hardened clay, or it's not cyan concrete. One row above and one row outside. You guys have done this before now.
How are you today?
Good.
Times.
How are you today?
Good.
You better? Getting better?
A little bit, yeah.
Is bed too late? Bed's too late. Yeah, it's that as well, yeah. But bed too late doesn't help. I felt much better yesterday, but this morning I felt rough. I still feel
outside, add a row of cyan concrete that just kind of goes all the way around the outside of this. I am going to be calling this cyan clay for the longest time, despite the fact that it looks nothing like cyan clay, not even a little bit. Cyan clay is pretty much grey. This is actually the colour of cyan. This should be a lot less confusing. But yeah, cyan concrete all the way around. You guys know what this is. It will just, once again, it's just about creating the right, nice shape. Looks good. It is a bit tedious to do these particular parts of the build, to be completely honest with you, because I mean, it's just a bit of a tedious process. There's nothing particularly difficult about this bit, but it's not that fun to do, is it? Once you've done that, you now want to add a layer of yellow concrete on top of the layer of cyan. So go all the way around the layer of cyan that you have probably just done, and add a layer of yellow concrete directly on top of it, just going all the way around it, like you can see me doing here. It looks very, very nice. It really sets off the cyan. I love the colour in this tower, it's absolutely amazing. Now, once you've done that, so the next thing we want to do here is, you see the big giant dark blue oval at the top of the tower? Add an additional layer of blue concrete directly on top of this oval to make it even with all of the other cyan concrete. So you just want to make it all nice and even like this. But what we then want to do is we want to take each one of the four corners here, and you want to, I know the oval has corners, it's basically the two diagonals on each one of the four corners. You want to add an additional blue concrete on top of each one of the four corners, like this. So just add a layer of blue concrete on top of each one of the four corners. Then add 5 layers, and we actually don't have this material. We need ourselves some light blue stained glass block, and grab yourself some light blue stained glass block, and you want to go up on top of each one of the blue concrete that you just placed, and you want to go up in rows of 5. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you want to do that on top of every single concrete that you just placed. So completely go up on top, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you just want to do it absolutely everywhere. And once you've actually placed all of your rows of 5 glass, I do believe that I'm doing this one, I'm kind of just using all of the other rows to measure it, you then want to place an additional blue concrete on top of every single glass that you just placed. So you just want to place an additional one on top of every single glass that you just placed. However, now, what you want to do is, on every single one of the sides, you want to have a row of blue concrete that comes in diagonally from every single side. So like towards the front, you want a pair coming in towards the front diagonally that go from the bottom to the top of the rows of glass and concrete. If that makes sense, you want to do that on the front, for instance. On the left hand side, you want to do the same thing. You want to do the same thing, rows of blue concrete spanning from the top to the bottom, coming all the way up in a full extension like this. Then you want to add, in between the rows that you've just made, you actually want to come out by one diagonally in front of the empty space, and you want to place like a row of blue concrete on the front, on the left-hand side. I know this is a difficult shape, and then on the back as well, just like one row above and diagonally in regards to the empty space like this. You just want to place all of it like that. You then want to add your rows of 5 glass. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 glass, and then a final row of blue concrete on top of the glass, like this. And that wants to be present all the way around. So add your rows of 5 glass, topped off with a row of blue concrete, and that will actually be this particular portion of the lookout, the headquarters, however you want to say. That'll be this particular portion of it complete. All we'll have to do after this is we will just simply have to add a roof and a nice big yellow spyglass. And guess what, guys? After that's done, there's nothing else. Not unless you want to start messing about with the terrain and stuff outside, but we'll talk about that when we get to it. So, we want to have something which should look like this. What do we want?
Hello, Caden Clifford. Welcome to live stream.
What do next? Next, after you have this shape, you want to add an oval. It's pretty much an oval shape. You want to add an oval shape of red concrete directly on top of the row of blue concrete that you've just made. So following on from the shape, we want a row of red concrete directly on top of the row of blue concrete. So like this, all the way around on top. We then want to extend it out, right? So we want to extend this out until you have a shape up at the top of your tower. We want the same shape of red that we have at the top of it. So you see the yellow oval, yeah? On the very edge of the tower, you want to have the same shape for the roof. Yeah, so basically you just want to keep adding rows and rows of reds to your roof until you have literally the same shape as you do the same top of your blue concrete. So like this, all the way around. We then want to extend it out, right? So we want to extend this out until you have a shape up at the top of your tower. We want the same shape of red that we have at the top of it. So you see the yellow oval, yeah? On the very edge of the tower, you want to have the same shape for the roof. Yeah, so basically you just want to keep adding rows and rows of reds to your roof until you have literally...
I'll be right back, guys. Alright guys, I'm back.
The same shape as you do just down below. If that makes sense, guys, I'm sure it does. So basically you want to copy the shape that is just below you, and you want to make sure that you can basically, I mean, if you want to check, you want to make it so that the yellow lines up with the red. So from like top to bottom, we want to have the same sized roof as we do the yellow concrete. So we're going to go all the way around, and we're going to do that. The best way to do it is literally just to eyeball and just follow the shape of the actual headquarters. So if you're unsure at any point whether or not that you're actually lining everything up properly, just take a bit of a dip below, grab a colour that you've not used, and make sure that it does line up. That's the...
This is very confusing. This part is very confusing.
Absolute best way to do it, and best of all, it doesn't require any real instructions. You got...
Hello, Caden Clifford. Why are you leaving, Caden Clifford?
You can do this at your own leisure, whether it takes you a little longer or whether it doesn't take any time at all. It's, I mean, it's how it is. All you've got to do is just line things up the correct way, and you've just got to make sure that the roof of the tower is very much the same as the actual, like, the lip of the tower. So I'm sure that you guys have managed to do that. As a matter of fact, we've almost done it over here. I say we, it's pretty much just me, but you know, whatever. So now we should be able to look at the top of the tower. That is the roof, and we should now be able to just dip down below and see that it's the same shape. That is 100% important. Now, the next bit is all the way up at the top of the tower. Once you've done that, is we want to add a row of red, one row above and one row inside of the row of red that we've just done. So basically just coming in by one row above and one row inside of what we've just done. We want to have a row of red concrete that sits just inside, and this is going to create some depth for the roof. So it just wants to sit inside like that. Now, once you've got that sorted out, we're actually just going to completely fill the top of this in with red concrete. We're not finished in making, we're not really finished in, like, making this. As actually, you know what, as a matter of fact, it might be a bit easier if we, no, never mind, I'm sorry, I was just trying to think of a better way of doing this next bit, because we're not finished in shaping the roof. We've just got two more layers to do. We've got to add a little bit of red that comes up from the middle of the roof, but I think it'll be much simpler and it will look much better if we just fill the top of the roof in here first, and then we can focus on actually finding
This is all copyright. What do you mean?
very center of the big bit of the roof that we're just about to do, and then we can talk about, like I said, like shaping it and adding the spyglass, and then that'll be pretty much all there is to be done with this particular build. It is just this last little bit up at the top of the tower. It's no worry. So we just want to have something which should look a little bit like that. Now we have to find the very center of the tower at the top. Hopefully you've got a bit of a skill for this. It should be that block. So, I mean, you're going to have to eyeball it. That's literally what I just did. If you find hopefully you've got a bit of a skill for this. It should be that block. So, I mean, you're going to have to eyeball it. That's literally what I just did. If you find the block right in the very top center of your tower, it will line up with the middle on the top side and on the left hand side, the right hand side, and that is the center of the tower. Do the same thing that I just did, kind of eyeball it. You'll find out the middle block. Trust me, you'll be able to see it. You want to take that middle block and you want to extend it in every direction by 3.
You're copying everything he's doing. Bruh, it's called a tutorial. It's called a flippin' tutorial. Have you watched like any of his videos? It's called a tutorial. What time is it for me? It's 4:19 p.m.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So that's up, down, left, right. You then want to connect each one of these signs together like this. So what you want to do is you basically want to create kind of like a plus shape like this. And you know what, we'll even add another layer of red going all the way around it. So we'll make it just look a little bit nicer in that we'll add an additional layer of red. We'll kind of smooth off the corners a Now we're going to add a layer of red above and inside of this that is 1 row smaller than the previous circle of red that we've just made. So you can see that we've kind of just created that nice little bit there that is just 1 row shorter on every side and 1 row above. We're then going to grab the yellow concrete, and we want to take the very center block in the row of red concrete, and we want to extend this center block up. We want to take it up by 7. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Now, you then want to extend it towards you by 1 block. Place a sea lantern in front with a light blue glass in front of that. In front of this row of yellow, we want to place another row of yellow in front of it, and then we want to place 2 yellow coming outwards like this. And on the left-hand side, we want to place a
How's Australia?
that is as high as the previous row of yellow, the first row of yellow, and we want to extend it forwards until it comes around the side of the looking glass. And on the right-hand side, we want a row of yellow that comes up and then extends forwards. And on the back, even on the back, we want to extend up the middle row of yellow that comes up and extends forwards and comes up on top of the looking glass. And if you want to smooth this off, you can knock off that corner block at the back, and that will give you the looking glass at the top of the tower. You could even make that a little bit shorter if you like. I mean, if you want to make that a little bit shorter, maybe 7 blocks is a bit too high perhaps. Maybe we'll make it a little bit lower, just a tad. Maybe we'll make it about here, right there. I'll show you. It's easy to adjust. I mean, it really does depend on your own personal preference, but we'll just adjust it now. We'll make it a little bit lower. You guys can decide whether you want it higher or lower. Completely up to you. Just make it shorter if you want it shorter. Make it bigger if you want it a little bit bigger. It really does depend on kind of like what sort of build you're looking for. A little bit shorter, maybe 7 blocks is a bit too high perhaps. Maybe we'll make it a little bit lower, just a tad. Maybe we'll make it about here, right there. I'll show you. It's easy to adjust. I mean, it really does depend on your own personal preference, but we'll just adjust it now. We'll make it a little bit lower. You guys can decide whether you want it higher or lower. Completely up to you. Just make it shorter if you want it shorter. Make it bigger if you want it a little bit bigger. It really does depend on kind of like what sort of you're looking. But yeah, I mean, that also works. I actually like it looking just a little bit shorter, maybe even a little shorter than that, but that's perfectly fine. And ladies and gentlemen, I mean, once that's complete, once that's done, you'll have a pretty awesome looking headquarters. I was looking for the word. You'll have a pretty awesome looking headquarters. I mean, it's much better to look at it in night vision. It looks a lot better like this. You can actually see the thing now. It's a little bit hard to see without the night vision. It can be just because the tower at the top is so much bigger. There's not much more to do with the place. As a matter of fact, the only other thing that I've actually
Would you like to come to the shop?
Town that I haven't done to this town is that I've renovated.
Sure, after this live stream, I'll be done in like a few seconds. Because look at this. It's I'm already done. That's the Paw Patrol Headquarters. I never knew Minecraft. What?
Where's our house?
We still hasn't built it yet. Well, what are you going to the shops for?
I'm going to get bits of chicken and just go to Coles and Birkenberry.
Up. You need to build right now the bowling alley. I'll build that in like a future episode or something.
Make a tutorial for it because it really is subjective as to what you want to use the tower for. So the only thing that you might want to add to the tower to improve it is you might want to add a layer of block of quartz that kind of creates an oval shape or maybe even a circular shape at the bottom of the tower. It will go all the way around. And then you just want to create different sections. So at the front of the tower, you want to have what is essentially, you can see coming into the entrance, a layer of road, like cyan hard clay is good for this, or grey clay, or you could use some grey concrete, something like that. And then all of the other sections are simply grass. And of course, if you wanted to make the tower look a little bit more realistic, I found this very difficult with the shape of the tower. If you wanted to add a slide to the tower,
should I sub? If you want.
To add a slide, then that's something that you might find that will improve the look of your town. I added it, I could not get it to work, so I just left it off, but you could add one if you wanted to. And that's pretty much it, ladies and gentlemen.
We have made the Paw Patrol Headquarters. This thing is absolutely massive. The tower is very, very tall. I'm really happy of how this thing looks. This thing is actually made out of concrete, glass and everything. Pretty happy of how this thing looks. Paw Patrol, be there on the double. I hope you guys enjoyed this video of me building the Paw Patrol Headquarters. If you did, guys, enjoy this video, smash the like button, smash the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you don't miss a video from me, and I'll see you guys soon. Have a lovely day, guys. Peace out.